This video examines Zamenhof's translation of Genesis chapter 1 into Esperanto. We will explore the transition from the Hebrew source text to the 1911 Hachette edition, and finally, to the 1926 London Bible. At the core of our analysis is a key question. How did Zamenhof handle Hebrew terms, and what solutions did he choose in Esperanto? Translation is not just a mechanical substitution of words. We distinguish between two paths, the translation process from Hebrew to Esperanto and the historical transmission path of the text itself. These require different analytical methods. To understand how Genesis reached its audience, we look at Zamenhof's work, the role of the publication La Revue, and the Hachette editorial process leading to the 1911 edition. What happened between 1911 and 1926? We track the text from Zamenhof's lifetime through the intermediate 1915 manuscript to the eventual post-mortem publication by the British Committee in 1926. When translating, what happens to the Hebrew resource? We categorize the transformations as preserved, interpreted, lost, or gained. Note that these are not value judgments, but analytical categories. We apply two classification axes, one for the level of proof of our claims, and another for the type of translation transformation. This helps us distinguish between observation and interpretation. In our first example, the Hebrew bārāʻ is translated as Christ. While the basic verbal relation is preserved, aspects of its lexical distribution and verbal morphology are lost in the new structure. Example 2 shows how rûaḥ is translated as spirito. This is an interpreted transformation, where a broad Hebrew semantic field is narrowed to a specific context, demonstrating the necessity of semantic choice. Our third example looks at the plural form na'yasea, becoming nikriu. Here, the plurality is preserved, but interpreting who the we refers to remains an open hermeneutical question. In describing creation, Zamenhof creates a lexical bridge in Esperanto. By using viro and virino for two different Hebrew pairs, he produces a new, coherent intertextual link. Ultimately, Zamenhof does not just translate words, he translates relationships. Esperanto's structure itself becomes a powerful tool for reconstructing these textual connections. When comparing the 1911 and 1926 editions, we find remarkable stability. Out of 31 verses, 29 remain lexically unchanged, confirming the high level of continuity in the transmission of the text. The 1915 intermediate stage remains a mystery. We consider scenarios for whether changes occurred during Zamenhof's life or during the later editorial phase, acknowledging that both are possible. In conclusion, we find a deep structural translation transformation alongside extreme transmission stability. Zamenhof's work is a masterclass in translating relationships between texts. This video is part of a larger 15-language presentation series titled Genesis Chapter 1 of Zamenhof. Each version preserves the same scientific and methodological foundation, ensuring the core analysis remains consistent across all languages. The presentation is supported by key historical resources, including the foundational 1911 and 1926 Esperanto texts, alongside the original Hebrew background. We also provide a historical portrait of L.L. Zamenhof to contextualize his work as a translator. The study behind this presentation evolved from academic discussions in our seminar series. Through subsequent text analysis, we have documented the transition from the Hebrew source to Zamenhof's Esperanto version, culminating in the results shown here. We have made the full academic study available on academia.edu for those who wish to explore our detailed documentation. We deeply appreciate the participants of our course seminar, whose valuable discussions contributed to this final analysis. Thank you for your attention to this study. We invite you to follow the progress of the text from the 1911 edition to the 1926 publication, as we continue to analyze Zamenhof's sophisticated system of translated relations.